This is Super Yacht News. In association with Go Earth, navigating boat buyers to better deals. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to episode 500 of Super Yacht News. Yeah, that's right, 500 episodes. I'll come back to that towards the end of the video, but stick around. Also, we've got a great Friday yacht spot as well, including some very big yachts like we did last week. The grounded yacht, we did a story last week about a yacht named Monte Carlo. It got grounded in Bodrum in Turkey. The vessel hit some very visible rocks, let's say. We don't know if it was a mechanical issue, electronics issue, or it was human error, but the vessel was perched on these rocks. We don't know what the weather was like as well. Could have been weather related. It could have been possibly at nighttime, you know. I know they have radars, but, you know, nighttime's still nighttime. So anyway, we don't know the circumstances of the grounding, but we do have some footage of the yacht now that it's being hauled out of the water in a shipyard. Now, we don't know how the yacht got from that location to the shipyard based on the footage that you're looking at right now, because it's clear that there is a big hole in that yacht, or there is the bow section has been open like a can opener, and you can see right inside. There's a couple of things going on. First of all, the stuff that is seems to have been packed into where the front end of the bow is, where it looks like it's been split open like that, like a tin can. We believe that's been packed in there to prevent them taking on more water. But we also believe that there's a possibility that there was some sort of storage unit in the forward end of the vessel, and some of the stuff that's hanging out could have been in that storage unit. It could be all packing. They've taken anything they could to just, you know, roll up and ram in there to prevent the water from water ingress. So we're not 100% sure, but it does look like a mixture. It could be a mixture of both, or it could just be the remnants of what they've packed in there to prevent the vessel from sinking when it was pulled from those rocks. So we'll move on to some video footage that was sent to us from the Corinth Canal in Greece. As you can see here, there's a yacht having trouble with the bank of the canal.
Oh my god. Girls, the boat just hit. The boat just hit. Oh my god. Oh my
god. We believe this yacht is called Motor Yacht Le Vaisseau, a 40-meter or 130-foot princess yacht built in 2016. Now, why do we say is that the person who sent it in didn't identify the vessel, but based on its design and the color, the light bluish color of the satellite domes and some other areas of the vessel, we managed to we actually scoured through all the yachts that have passed through that location in the last 7 days, and we found a vessel that seems to match that description. Went through on the 17th of July, and the footage was sent to us on the 19th of July. Now, there's a bit of a discrepancy because that yacht goes in apparently with no other vessel in front, but you can clearly see that the footage was filmed from another vessel in front, and there was 2 yachts behind it in the AIS footage, whereas we don't see any yachts in the video footage. So I think it's the right yacht, but it might not have been from this particular occasion. I don't know. It's impossible to say. We checked the tracking of that yacht going back for a month, and it seems to be the only time it's passed through the Corinth Canal. So yeah, anyway, looking at the footage, you can see that the vessel's stern swings around and hits the bank. Now, this is a phenomenon that we call the bank effect. Most likely, this is something that happens when you're in a very tight area like this. Effectively, the simplified version is that the water speed on one side, because of the pressure of the limited space, the water speed on one side is faster than on the other side. The side that's closest to the bank, the water speed is faster, and as a result, it makes the stern of the vessel swing around and hit towards the bank, and in this case it hits the bank a couple of times. So yeah, that's probably what's happening here. We don't know if there was any damage. You can see a deckhand there with a fender trying to run down and put that fender between the vessel and the bank, and failing to do so. But it's a pretty desperate move to try and prevent damage to the vessel. So there was a wake in the water from that other vessel, which could have contributed to this issue that the yacht was having. I believe they said, if my memory serves, that they hit the bank 3 times. So there are maneuvers that you can do to prevent this from happening. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not by any means an expert on that. All right, we'll move on to our next story. We've got some information through of an auction for a yacht that used to belong to Jimmy Buffett, obviously the musician. It's a Choi Lee 90 expedition designed by Tom Fexas. It was built in 1999. I had a refit in 2020. It's a 27 meter or 90 foot yacht. Obviously, I'm putting photographs on screen here. These were sent to us by the auctioneers. The vessel is it's impressive actually for its size. It's got a range of 4,300 nautical miles. Its location is currently in Thailand, and it's flying a Singaporean flag. And yeah, that is going to be up for auction on the 4th of September. 24-hour auction will begin on the 4th of September. I'll put a link in the description, so if you're interested in bidding on that and you're a big Jimmy Buffett fan, even better, you can go and bid on that auction. I think that the original price of the vessel was 2.7 million. I think the auction is starting at 1.2 million. I'm not sure about that 100%, but I'll put the link below and you can go and click and you can read all about it yourself. All right, we'll move on. In the last episode of Super Yacht News, we talked about Yacht Crashes, the massive 135-meter mega yacht that's been detained in Tarragona since 2022. If you want to know the details of that detention, go back and watch the last video. But short version is it's linked to Igor's section, and it was detained as a result, boarded by the FBI at one point as well, and a lot of other Spanish authorities, etc. Now, the vessel has been effectively in that location in Tarragona since 2022. It's gone out a couple of times, done some sea trials, and then it's gone straight back in. Now, a couple of things. One thing is, people always were asking, why doesn't the vessel just leave? Well, there's actually a bridge there that has to be opened to let any vessel of that size in or out. So that's that reason. Obviously, it's getting shadowed by Coast Guard and military vessels when it does these sea trials. But in the most recent sea trial, as we mentioned in the last video, the vessel went to Barcelona. The AIS on the vessel was switched off when it left Tarragona Marina, and it only got switched on when it was already out in the ocean. And then the vessel sailed into Barcelona, and while it was still in the channel, they switched off the AIS so people couldn't see where it was heading. But we have a photograph on screen from one of our subscribers who took a photograph there to show us that it's gone into the dry dock at MB92. And you can see, I'll put some satellite footage here and I can show you exactly where the yacht is. Now, if you're in Barcelona, if you're going to be on Barcelona, be sure to head down there and check it out, take some photos or some video. They might put plastic over it like they did with Scheherazade to cover the vessel. It just depends on what's being done and whether they're willing to pay for that. But anyway, the vessel is there in Barcelona. Now, we've been told reliably that the vessel is now out of class. You have to have a series of surveys and inspections, and you have to do certain maintenance to keep the vessel's class. And once it drops out of class, it's very hard to get back in because you have to go in at the current level of regulations, right? So when the hull is laid on a vessel, the class, that's what class you're in, right? In terms of legislation. If you drop out and you have to go back in, you have to go back in on the latest ones. So it could end up costing a lot of money to get that boat back into class. Also probably means that the vessel's been uninsured. Now, usually when a vessel's uninsured, it can't get permission to dock in a port because obviously there's a danger if there's an accident, then there's no insurance to claim from. This is why you have to have class and insurance and all those things. As we can see in the photograph, the vessel's still flying a Cayman Islands flag, so it has not been deregistered from the Cayman Islands, as some other vessels have been done since the sanctions started. So they're still flying that Cayman's flag. Now, the IMO database is out of date, though, because it still shows the registered address as care of Imperial Yachts and a Monaco address listed, which they haven't been in since 2022. So yeah, they moved away from there, and they've now dissolved that company, so the company doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that yacht is now in MB92, and it's having a set of work done. Obviously, special permission was granted to allow the vessel in there, especially with the fact that it probably has no insurance as well. But that will have all been prearranged before they went in. Anyway, we'll move on. Like I said at the beginning, episode 500 of Super Yacht News. This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman. Here are today's stories. It's quite remarkable that we've made 500 episodes. Now, in actual fact, technically, we've made more than 500 episodes, but we don't count the breaking news videos in there. But this is the 500th episode. The first one was on the 26th of April, 2020. So we've been doing this for over 5 years, which is incredible. Now, the idea for Super Yacht News came when, because sometimes when I'm working on a vessel, I don't have the ability to go out into a marina and walk around and take videos, or I don't have the ability to fly a drone when a yacht's coming in and film it, right? So I thought, well, what can I do in the meantime to make videos to keep the channel going, right? Because sometimes if you're an OG from back in the day, you will remember that there were months where I didn't post any videos. And then when I went on leave, I'd start posting videos again. So I thought, well, why don't I do a news video? This is when I was working on my own. I thought I'll do a news video, and then I'll be able to post even when I'll just have to like find out what's going on and then post videos. And now that's become the mainstay of the channel, right? It's a news channel now. In actual fact, I posted an old style video in Genoa recently. And it was the worst performing video in the last 10 videos. So it was 10 of 10 in the YouTube list of videos. So the audience has really changed to a news audience now. Anyway, we'll move on to a Friday yacht spot. We've got some cracking yachts again this week. The first one I want to start with is motor yacht Persephone. You might remember this vessel. There was a story that we did, I think it was last year. The vessel was in Greece, and they had a firework display for the owners, and they set fire to an island, and they caused a big forest fire there. And initially they denied that they'd done it, but eventually the captain admitted to it and said he did it all on his own, obviously falling on his sword for his crew. Well, the yacht is back in business now, I assume without that captain, and this is in Fiscardo in Greece. So you can see that it's in a marina there with a lot of music playing and stuff like that. And then you see some still photographs of that boat. So yeah, the boat's back in business anyway. Next on the list, we've got Motor Yacht Breakthrough. This is in Beaulieu-sur-Mer, which is in France, on the Côte d'Azur. We mentioned this yacht in the last video. If you want to know more details about Breakthrough and its hydrogen fuel cell, go back and check out episode 499. Next on the list, we've got sailing yacht Koru. This is Jeff Bezos' super sailing yacht. We also mentioned that in the last video as well. But these are new photos and new video footage of the yacht. I believe this is in Croatia, but I'm not 100%. Also don't know who sent in this footage. Next on the list, now in the last Friday Yacht Spot, I saw a comment from someone that said, I hope someone's going to send in some video footage of Motor Yacht Octopus because it's my favourite yacht. It's also my favourite yacht, and someone has sent in some footage of Motor Yacht Octopus. This is from the 5th of June in Fiji. We're not sure the name of the person who sent it in, but I think they're using an Osmo Pocket 3 or something like that. Something stabilised anyway, because it's super smooth footage, and they're on a moving boat as well. But it's really, really smooth footage. This is obviously built for Paul Allen, launched in 2003, so it's over 20 years old. The vessel was built by Lursen. It's a huge vessel, even by today's standards. The largest yacht in the world is 16,000 gross tons, and this is 10,000 gross tons. So it's really, it was a really behemoth yacht for its time, and it still is one of the largest yachts in the world. We did a largest yachts of the world video maybe 4 years ago now. We haven't done one for a while, and this was still on the list. So it is a massive yacht, 126 meters in length, which is about 410 feet. Has a range of 12,500 nautical miles, which is massive. Ice class hull. It goes on. The list goes on of this vessel. It was really built to be able to go anywhere, and it has a crew of 63. Now, the new owner is Roger Samuelsson, a Swedish billionaire, and the vessel's effectively being used as a charter yacht. And we showed some footage a while back of Lewis Hamilton in the Antarctic on Octopus. And yeah, so that's what it's doing now. It was a very secretive yacht in its day because Paul Allen was super secretive. I almost worked there a couple of times. I almost got a job there. It was my dream to work on Octopus, and I just never quite made it. And interestingly, it was one of the first yachts I ever saw when I was on the cruise ships. The giant yachts like this, I was like, wow, this, I couldn't believe this was one individual who owned this thing. And I saw it in New York, and then I saw it in New Orleans as well. And it was like, I don't know why, but I thought one day I'm going to work on that yacht, and I almost made it, but never quite did. I'd love to go on board. If they ever want some footage of the vessel to be shown for whatever reasons, I'd love them to get in touch and ask me on board. That would be fantastic. Anyway, we've got one more vessel before I go. Actually, we've got two more vessels. We've got Motor Yacht IJA, the name of this vessel. Now, I believe the owner just took the first initials of his kids. That's why it's got a weird name. This is also in Fiji, also taken by the same person who took the previous, hence the stability. Built for Australian billionaire James Packer, and it was delivered by Bonetti in 2019. Kind of looks like a Moray Vero. It's got those weird slope things on the sides. It's a lovely looking, I don't say weird, but I mean it's unusual. And it's 109 meters or 354 feet in length. Value is around 200 million. And yeah, like I said, the kids' names made up that name. And also 200 million means it's about 20 million a year to run that boat. So yeah, quite crazy. Now, I'll do a little bit of a mystery competition here. We've got some footage. This is taken in Rotterdam of a brand new yacht. It's just heading out to final fitment. Answers on a postcard if you know the name of this yacht, and we'll tell you in the next video what the name of the yacht is. But yeah, just thought it was interesting to show some footage here and see if anybody can guess the name of that yacht. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. It's a Friday, so I hope you all have a great weekend. If you're working on a yacht this weekend and you're at sea, be sure to go out very early in the morning like I do and check out that sunrise and check out the horizon there. It's one of my favorite things to do. If you're not working on a yacht, I hope you still have a great weekend. Ideally, you're having the weekend off. And yeah, if you are, be sure to relax. And I'll see you next week. Please be sure to subscribe for more videos like this.